If your retirement plan is basically sell a little every month and hope the market behaves, that is a shaky way to build a paycheck. Today I'm going to show you a simple modified bucket system that makes your 401k feel a lot more like income. All today on the Howdy Neighbor Retirement Show.
It's the Howdy Neighbor Retirement Show.
Howdy neighbor, I'm Michael Andrews with Andrews Insurance and Advisory, and this is the Howdy Neighbor Retirement Show. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to do another full-blown Michael tutorial in my How to Turn a 401k into a Paycheck series. This one is a modified bucket system, and it's based on a white paper published by Dalbar. So here's the real problem in retirement. The market does not care that your electric bill is due on the 15th. And most folks are fine with the ups and downs when they're working and contributing. But once you retire and you're withdrawing, a bad stretch at the wrong time can do real damage. Not just because the account is down, but because you're selling shares while it's down as well. So the goal is not never have a down year. The goal is don't be forced to sell the growth part of your money during a down year just to create income. So this modified bucket system is just doing that. It is separating your money by job. So bucket number one is the paycheck bucket. This is the money you plan to spend in the near future. It's there to pay you month after month. And then we have bucket number two. That is the growth bucket. This is the money you do not need in the near future so it can ride out market swings and focus on long-term growth. That is the modified bucket system. 2 buckets, 2 jobs with one goal, reliable income without panic selling. Now the question that everybody asked is this: how big should the paycheck bucket be? Well, the answer I like to offer people is around 5 years of income needs from the portfolio. Not 5 years of total spending, but 5 years of the gap that your 401k has to cover after things like Social Security, pensions, or anything else is out there. A lot of people want to know, hey Michael, why 5 years? Well, because it gives the growth bucket time to recover when the market has a rough stretch. Historically, the market has had ugly years, no doubt about it, but a key point in the research was that major drawdowns tend to recover. And the 5-year cushion was designed to give your money enough of a runway so that you're not forced to cash out growth investments at a discount. So let's try to make this a more practical type step. Step number one, figure out what your income gap is. So ask yourself, what do we need per month to live the life that we want? So when I'm talking about the life that you want, I'm talking about things like vacation, maybe going out to the steakhouse every month or two and trying to spoil the grandkids. Number two, what income is already guaranteed? So guaranteed income could be anything from Social Security, a pension, rental income, maybe an annuity, whatever it is that applies to you. Then you look at what's left. That leftover amount is what your 401k has to produce, like a paycheck. Step number two is we build the paycheck bucket. So an easy example is if you need $40,000 a year from your portfolio to fill the gap, then 5 years of that is $200,000. That $200,000 has one job, and that is to pay you. This is not the get rich bucket. This is the fill the gap bucket. So it needs to be stable, accessible, and not overly sensitive to market drops. Because the whole point is that when the market is ugly, you do not have to touch your growth bucket. Step number three, and that is invest the rest as your growth bucket. Everything outside that paycheck bucket gets the long-term job. That is your inflation fighter. That's the part that can grow over time, and a lot of people tend to get too conservative early, and it feels safe, but what can happen? It can quietly wreck long-term growth results because the whole portfolio is dragging around too much safety money. This is not actually being spent anytime soon. The modified bucket approach tries to be smarter. Protect the money you'll actually use soon and let the rest keep working. Now, how do you actually turn this into a paycheck? Well, it's pretty simple. Your monthly withdrawals come from the paycheck bucket. Then you follow one rule that keeps you from making emotional decisions. When markets are up, you refill the paycheck bucket from gains in the growth bucket. When markets are down, you pause refilling and keep paying yourself from the paycheck bucket. So you're not selling growth investments in a panic. You're giving your growth bucket time to recover, and you're still getting your paycheck. And that's the whole point of all of this. Here's why a lot of people like this system. It matches how retirees actually think. Most people want to know, hey, am I okay for the next 5 years? Normal people don't say, is this allocation theoretically optimized? This gives you something that you can actually understand. I have a paycheck bucket that covers me for a while, and I have a growth bucket that can recover and grow, and it turns retirement from hope into a process. So to give you all a quick recap, the modified bucket system is this. You figure out your income gap. You build a paycheck bucket, often around 5 years of that gap. You invest the rest for growth, and then you pull income from the paycheck bucket, refill it when markets are up, and avoid selling growth assets when markets are down. And yes, this is part of my YouTube playlist I'm building where I'm walking through multiple real-world ways that people try to turn their 401k into a paycheck. So if you've got a question that you would like for me to tackle in a future episode, if you could, shoot me an email over at michael@andrewsadv.com. I read every single one of them, and I just might answer yours on a future episode. You've worked hard to build your retirement, and you do not have to make these decisions alone. If you want a second opinion, man, I'm here to help you on your retirement plan. It doesn't cost anything for me to take a look, but not letting me, whoa, it could cost you thousands. So if you're ready to take this relationship to the next level, you can call or text me at 918-842-7379 or head on over to andrewsadv.com and click on my calendar to schedule a time that works for you. Before you go, hit subscribe on the YouTube channel so you don't miss next week's episode, and follow the Howdy Neighbor Retirement Show page on Facebook too. Also, if you found this helpful, give it a like, leave a comment, and share it with a friend who needs to hear it and can use some friendly, neighborly advice. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next week right here on the Howdy Neighbor Retirement Show. Thanks.
It's the Howdy Neighbor Retirement Show, helping you plan so your money will grow.